Support the channel on patreon.com/manlightfoot.
Quinta's teaching us a new word.
For a little while, I was having a slight crisis. Not a major one. Trust me, if I had one of those, I would have unloaded a big bag of freak on all of you by now. But just something more simple. I was in need of a good show to replace a show I was watching for years. It didn't need to be the next evolution in television, but something that definitely would put a smile on my face, you know? Something downright pleasant. Well, I actually found a good show with this one joint called Abbott Elementary. It's something that came out pretty much at the top of 2022, which is crazy considering we're not even that far into 2022 as the time of this video. It got some fair buzz as new episodes came out. It's kind of a quiet hit. By that weird shit I just said, I mean it's something that gets people talking about it and does well in the ratings, but isn't blown out of proportions with how much people enjoy it. But who gives a crap about other people? What matters is how great this damn show is. It's about this character named Janine who works at this elementary school that's riddled with budget problems and trying to keep a good attitude while also providing a good educational experience to her students. Now, maybe that doesn't sound too outlandish to you or even exciting, but what if I said that's one of the great things about this show? Oh, that doesn't change your minds at all? Well, screw you, I'm still gonna talk about it. Dickheads.
Okay, everyone, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, except for Andrew, who is taking a principled stand against nationalism.
It's damn right.
Now, like I said, this show has a great angle with it not being so outlandish. It's what gives it a unique pull. It's a fairly simple slice of life type of show with this mockumentary style to it that actually enhances the experience of watching it. Real talk, imagine you're in school and there's a whole ass camera crew filming you and your teachers. So many of them little nigglets would be trying to get in front of the camera talking like Lil Tay.
It's Lil Tay, let me tell y'all something. This shit costs more to your rent, my toilet costs more to your rent, everything in my bathroom costs more to your rent.
Anyone remember when that was a thing? No? Huh. Y'all better off for it. But anywho, there's some genuine jokes that have an excellent source of payoff with how people look at the camera a lot of the time and give their reactions to things.
My support was going to do about as much as that 5-year-old bra you've got on right there.
Okay, it's not impossible to get...
Daddy's home too? Hilarious!
Yeah, tech has its place. Like when you haven't been with a man for a few years.
It's so relatable because you can't pretend like you don't be one to look at an imaginary camera every time your friends or family say some bullshit. Don't fake. You get some pretty funny moments between characters with this style that kind of lends itself to feel like a regular day at school, but more from the teacher's perspectives. It doesn't go hard with any over-the-top antics. It chooses a more nice and simple feel that keeps things grounded. Can't tell you how much I honestly respect that angle. This feels very much within the realms of reality, but obviously have a bit of quirkiness that comes from the characters.
Oh, thank you, Janine. No problem, Miss Howard. You're doing your job so well, I see a little bit of me in you. You do? Because I always felt that a lot.
Oh God, stop.
Oh, Janine,
stop. What are you doing? What are you doing?
So
Come on, now,
lovely.
stop. This show is very much carried by its excellent cast of characters. Everyone contributes some type of quality that enhances the show overall. You start off with Janine, who's played by the creator of the show. She's this plucky but clearly naive optimist who wants what's best for her students. She gets in over her head about most things with her ambitions, which comes at the annoyance of her fellow teachers and even students.
Oh, God, can someone please help me down?
And why would we do that since you clearly caused this situation?
Okay, I didn't know doing this would cause all the power to go out.
Doesn't help that she, can embarrass herself a lot of the time whenever she just doesn't shut up.
And
Thank you, Janine. That is very kind
yeah,
of you.
I wanted to be just like her, actually. I was like obsessed with her. She wrote in my report card note, needs friends her own age, a bit clingy. She was a hoot.
Stop talking!
She's sort of akin to that one teacher you may have had that means well, but is clearly out of their depth. Janine's naivety can act as a driving force for a lesson to be learned, but we'll get to that a little later. It also works as something for other characters to play off of, like for instance, Barb.
Woman of God.
Groovy. Barb is the veteran teacher that knows what's up at the school. She basically accepts that things are pretty bad and not gonna get any better and tends to just bust Janine's chops a bit about it.
You spent all of the money on this? Rush job. Can you believe it's quality?
How's that optimism taste?
You sassy bitch.
But thankfully, she's not a total stick in the mud and not someone who's perfect. She has this one moment where she literally lets a lie get out of hand and has to come up with a scheme. Now, it's nothing over the top, but it's a good way to showcase that even the vets aren't that much better at this job. There's another vet named Melissa who's basically that shady teacher who lets you get some stuff off when you probably shouldn't. Hell, she'll probably let you cheat off the test a few times like mine. I mean, she's a pretty rough around the edges type of teacher. Yeah, that's what I was saying. She gets stuff done for her students, but would do it in a, let's say, unorthodox way.
Oh, look who's back in the land of the living.
Who opened the fire hydrant?
Well, as Melissa would say, snitches get stitches.
That is correct.
You then get to Jacob, who's Janine's contemporary, with him coming to the school at the same time as her.
Jacob and I came in together last year with 20 other teachers. We're 2 of the 3 left. So, trauma bonding, I guess?
He's a pretty nervous and timid guy who wants to avoid stepping on people's shoes. He has his heart in the right place with race relations, but still needs to learn a thing about, just being himself and not trying to act cool or that he knows black culture. Seriously, real talk, white people, y'all don't gotta act cool around us. For real. Be like Melissa. She talks to everybody exactly the same without acting any different than who she is. Race relation lesson over. Jacob is definitely one of those teachers still learning the ropes around the place, but just needs to learn to loosen up a bit on things, though it's still pretty funny when he gets sat down by other teachers.
I believe it was Brother Cornell West.
Don't. Not right now.
Now, there are a few characters that definitely make things a bit of a challenge for the other characters. Nothing like supervillain levels of bad, but more, ooh, this bitch is annoying type of bad. That being Ava. She's the principal at Abbott Elementary who screams she should not have this job.
I go to the same church as the superintendent. Caught him cheating on his wife with the deaconess. I needed a job.
You see what I mean? She's basically plain selfish and only really thinking about herself more than anything. She can be an obstacle to the other characters when it comes to getting supplies for the school or just being completely uncaring to what's happening with others. She also can make some pretty inappropriate comments about one character.
I'm the sub for the teacher who punted the student.
Oh, you're the sub. Forgive me. I thought one of my colleagues here hired a stripper for me.
Lady about to get a sexual harassment case on her. Speaking of sexual, there's Gregory, who's basically the one who can't be bothered with everything since he's a substitute teacher. He honestly has the best reactions to everything. Every face he makes towards the camera is a stitch.
Girls! And young Idris. Turns out.
He has this clear arc where he's very much uncaring about his job since he was going for principal, but he'll learn to actually appreciate it. Though he's got this one thing where he's attracted to Janine, but Janine is in a relationship with a guy named... Holy shit, it's Terrific Tariq. Damn, niggas been getting around. But anyway, Janine and Tariq have a troubled relationship, and Gregory is probably hoping something happens between Janine and Tariq so he can swoop in. Keep in mind, at the time of this video, there's only been 5 episodes out, so I'm not 100% sure how this will all play out. All I know is Gregory clearly never learned right after that foot in his ass.
Doctor, is he gonna be okay?
Well, I think we'll be able to get it out, but you won't be able to wear that shoe again.
These characters all bring big laughs to this series, but there's more to them when you really dig underneath the surface of it all.
Every lunch period, Barbara. Every single one, Amir comes and naps on the rug.
We care so much, we refuse to burn out. If we burn out, who's here for these kids?
You want to know my secret? Do everything you can for your kids.
Now, I did say that this show was hilarious and all that sexy stuff, but what if I told you that wasn't the big thing that keeps you drawn in?
Say what?
The thing that keeps you watching is its great sense of sincerity. There's so many heartfelt moments between the characters that kind of puts a refreshing flavor to this series. So many moments you think could go south, just be very cynical, and with a joke or have the characters get degraded, actually become sweet and heartwarming.
I'm really sorry.
Listen, you're trying to sanitize this place and its history. It doesn't need it. This is who we are. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Tire iron, of course, representing the ugly.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
I know you mean well, hun. You want the best for your kids. Just next time, have a more open mind, that's all.
The characters share strong lessons between each other that brings a strong growth between them. Barb, who's this seasoned vet, starts out fairly annoyed with Janine, but clearly believes in her ability as a teacher. It's a good establishment that there's genuine care between them. One of my favorite episodes as of this video was this one where Janine gets a child transfer from Melissa's class. Janine got some bad reviews from a teacher critiquing site, basically Yelp for teachers.
That just sounds bad.
This got Melissa to do some playful ribbing, which makes Janine feel bad. When Janine gets Melissa's student Courtney, she gets a big head and insults Melissa by calling her a bad teacher. Things escalate with Courtney being a terrorist of a student, leading to Janine and Melissa addressing their attitudes towards one another, and Janine gets some strong words from Melissa.
That review really hurt my feelings, and I took it out on you.
It just said you were less experienced. Listen, if you go look at the Facebook reviews of my cousin Rocco's hoagie shop, you would think the man sold food poisoning. But he's gonna keep making hoagies. You know why? Most people love him. You gotta keep making hoagies.
God damn it, you ever just have something that's so good you want to break something? That's this moment for me, and it doesn't stop there either. But I'll leave that for you all to watch for yourselves. This is something you should experience for yourself. This episode is just so goddamn good. There's just this great sense of heart from this show. The thing that makes this work is that this series clearly has strong messages. Some that's dedicated to showcasing that teachers have it hard, but obviously are in this for the sake of the kids' future. Think about it. Teachers have to put up with so much crap, be it low wages, terrible parents yelling at them, and unruly kids. They deal with grading so many papers, keeping tabs on other people's children, all because they want to properly shape the future of these kids so they're not sleeping in a cardboard box, or hell, grow up to be Jordan Peterson or Ben Shapiro or Joe Rogan or Candace Owens. Low key, Barb said it best.
Teachers at a school like Abbott, we have to be able to do it all. We are admin, we are social workers, we are therapists, we are second parents. Hell, sometimes we're even first. Why? It sure ain't the money.
A favorite moment of mine is when Jacob needed a guest speaker for the kids to showcase Philadelphia's history, and Melissa got someone who basically went to jail for a strike. It ends really well by having Melissa explain that the kids need to learn the true history of where they live. The good, the bad, and the ugly. It's just so good of a moment and is a great lesson about learning history in general. There's these great moments involving the kids that have great ways to either teach them.
Okay, let's move on to ARD. Right, which means all right. So the kids here use a lot of Philadelphia slang, or as we call it, Philly slang. So I like to incorporate it as sight words, which are words that kids recognize without sounding them out.
Son, I wish I had this back in my class. Make understanding y'all niggas easier. Or understand how some kids have it pretty difficult to get through things. Low key, they can even touch on some scummy shit the system can try to pull. Like this one where the school got tricked into using grading software from a private prison system to assess how many beds they need for their cells. Smooth gave up on these kids and assumed the worst. Of this predominantly black elementary school.
Stay woke.
Yes, I'm using that in the actual correct way, unlike some dumb people, but that's a topic for another time. The point is that this show actually builds a subtle message about public schools having a hard time educating due to low budgets. It's not an overtly preachy series. It comes across serious issues while being very heartfelt and downright hilarious. You come for the laughs, but you stay for the heart. It's even more emphasized by the cast of characters having a strong sense of genuineness to them. They clearly can get on each other's nerves, but not so much that they don't care for one another. It doesn't have a simple young versus old mindset because anyone can mess up here and anyone can learn from anyone. though some of their insults to one another can be a smidge harsh.
Well, you think you know someone, and then they cheat on you with their thumb.
Oh, Siskel and Ebert, 2 thumbs up looking ass boy.
Miss my wigger. Just say, I really miss my wigger.
Overall, Abbott Elementary is a show that's just getting started. It has so much care put into it that adds to how refreshing it is. It could have been your typical comedy fodder where the characters are overly cynical or doesn't let sweet moments play out, but it avoids all that. It chooses a realistic pleasantness that's not often seen in sitcoms. The characters are all fairly likable, with some being in that hilariously bad grouping. The sweet moments between them have strong builds to them, so when they happen, you're smiling even more because they happen. It's downright hilarious with its use of reactions. Seriously, no amount of try not to laugh at this challenge will succeed with this series. It tackles serious issues that plague public schools without being too preachy. This show has been getting good buzz since its release, even quadrupling in the ratings since it premiered. By all means, you should definitely check it out. And for those that have checked it out, what are your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments, leave a like, and always remember, it's just a thought.
Thank you.